I didn't really like going. Like, even though I did try to go, it was more of a chore for me. But
Hmm.
after I started training with him, I really have found different people, different ways, different exercises that I wanted to try for that week or for that day and really get myself out of that box.
What's up, guys? Dylan from Mesa Fitness here. Today we are back with episode 7 of GymTalk. Okay, on this episode, I am talking with Ivy from Mesa Fitness Clifton. Now, Ivy is actually a recent graduate of Colorado Mesa University. She's an employee in the Kids Club in Clifton, and she's got a pretty awesome fitness story. So today we talk a little bit about her fitness journey and how it's evolved over the last couple of years. We talk about her time working with Shane Barks, the trainer from Mesa Fitness Clifton, and we actually talk a little bit about her background, which is in psychology, and how she thinks that plays into the world of fitness. This was a really fun talk for me. We get really deep into some of the psychology aspects of it. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Well, I really appreciate you joining me today. For anybody who's watching, go ahead and introduce yourself. What you do, um, who you are, essentially.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm Ivy, and right now I currently work at the Kids Club at Mesa Fitness in Clifton, but I also am starting a job at a hospital. So that's really exciting.
Very
That
cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've done. I just graduated from CMU with a Bachelor of Arts in Counseling Psych,
Nice.
and
Is that what the new job is around?
yeah, it's around there. So around more therapeutic techniques and just case management things.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Just to kind of bounce off of that, what got you into that? What made you choose that to go to school for?
Oh, good question. So I guess I don't know, ever since high school, I didn't really have a psychology class, but I just got really into psychology after watching Criminal Minds just the whole season. I really enjoyed just like the aspect of serial killers, which is interesting. So I did like a 20-page paper on
Mhm.
serial killers. So that was really interesting. And then I thought psychology was all about, serial killers, but it's not. It's way more than that. But I think just over time, I've learned a lot on just different parts of psychology, just studying people in a way, just theories of personality, cultural things, literally everything that encompasses a person. So yeah, that was really interesting.
That is super interesting. I've always been kind of interested by psychology too. I took a couple of classes in college. I've read a few books around psychology, just really basic kind of knowledge. And it's always interesting to think about, how the human mind functions and how it's different for each individual person, and just all the intricacies that go into it and kind of make us who we are. I've always kind of found that really interesting too.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think everyone just goes through so much and we can learn so much from everyone's lives,
Hmm.
even if we barely know them or even if we do know them.
Hmm.
It's just really interesting seeing how people develop over time too.
Yeah, it's kind of that old adage that people don't change, but in reality they really do. Like there's a lot that changes, even if we look at ourselves, how we were in middle school, high school. If people are watching this in their 40s, 50s, 60s, if they look back at how they were, fresh out of college or in their early 30s, they're probably a completely different person when they really think about it.
Yeah, just I don't know, there's just so much to it. Like we can
Mhm.
talk about it all day. It's just so interesting.
Right. So the reason I wanted to bring you on was because one, you're kind of a staple in the gym. I had seen you and Ton around the gym quite a bit before I actually met you guys.
Yeah.
I know you guys are friends with Paul Manzella from Clifton, and now you're a part of the team. But part of what I wanted to do is when I saw a post of you sharing your fitness journey within the last few days or weeks or so, I wanted to bring you on the show and kind of talk about that a little bit. So, kind of talk about just kind of a quick overview, and then I have some bounce off questions for you. But I guess kind of where did you start? What point did you say, okay, I need to make a change?
Okay. That's really interesting just because I've gone through so many stages in just really learning who I am as a person and how I've learned to become who I am now. I think ever since I was little, I still remember, I think I was 8 or I think 6 to 8 when a teacher came up to me. This was like when I lived in the Philippines. A
Mhm.
teacher came up to me and she was like, "Oh wow, like you're so chubby, so cute." And then from there, like I have been just so well, I mean in the past couple of years, not now, I guess, but more so from elementary school to high school,
Mhm.
I was just very insecure about my body because it really wasn't the standard I wanted myself at. And with the beauty standards and everything, it really puts a toll on who you think you are and what you want to be in life. And I think that's what kind of pushed me a little bit to really find where I wanted to go. And then in high school too, I just really had bad habits between wanting to lose weight and then eating and just binge eating. I remember eating like the Red Baron pizzas all the
Oh
time.
man, I
Yeah.
used to eat those all the time.
Yes, they were so just so addicting. I don't know. But when I used to do that, I ate so unhealthy and I just did not feel good every day. And so, I don't know, there wasn't really a day where I told myself, "Oh, I need to lose weight now." It
Mhm.
was kind of just a progression on wanting to learn how to lose weight, but I guess that first stage of losing weight was really hard just because I didn't know. I didn't know how to lose weight in a healthy way. So I got into really bad habits of really limiting my calories per day. I guess in a way I like almost starved myself, which wasn't very good. This is getting like really personal.
Yeah, I mean, go as far as you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to get like super deep, but
Okay.
it's totally up to you.
Yeah, I think it's really important to really point that out because I think when people start their journey or when people do want to lose weight, they think that limiting their calories, to for me it was less than 900 calories a day and that is not healthy.
No.
No. And so I really got into a very bad habit of having this unhealthy relationship with food,
Mhm.
seeing like even bread and just being disgusted by it. That really wasn't where I wanted to be. So rather than just losing weight in that way, I wanted to get into the gym. And I would always do cardio. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing cardio all the time, but I've learned that I really liked lifting, and my friends got me into it around 3 years ago. But they were intense power lifters, and I just sat there when they were doing deadlifts and just squats and all the big compound movements. But
Mhm.
over time, I think from starting to date ton and then meeting all my gym friends, I've learned that lifting is really what I wanted to do and that
Mhm.
cardio wasn't as much of what I wanted to do. And then starving myself wasn't was something I wanted to do for myself too. And so yeah, over time I've learned to really enjoy the process and really put myself first and try to understand what I really want with the journey and really finding that healthy balance between having that healthy balance or that healthy relationship with food and just knowing my limits with food too.
Mhm.
I guess I would eat a lot, but it's not where I would get, like really grossed out with how much I've eaten, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I kind of want to touch on that point that you mentioned of, not when you initially started, you didn't know where you wanted to go. You didn't know really where you wanted to be at, but you knew that you needed to be better.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
and I think that can be a struggle for a lot of people, just not knowing where really they want to be, but they know that they need to be better than where they're at. So just
Exactly.
getting started in any way possible can be important to an extent, as long as, like you mentioned, that it's educated.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, trying to cut your diet to where you're almost eating nothing isn't going to help your body. It's going to hurt it. It's
No,
going to hurt it in different ways than eating too much.
exactly.
So really having that education, I think that's a really good way to get started is, educate yourself either through a trainer, through, there's so many different resources out there now, books, videos, just YouTube is a huge resource.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great ones, but just trying to educate yourself a little bit and then going out, even if you still don't know exactly what you want, just getting started is the hardest part.
It really is. And I think you mentioned a really big part is just doing things to better yourself. I think even though if you want to better yourself physically, you can't better yourself if you're not good mentally too. And I think that's why I wanted to go into counseling psych, just to really understand how we can further ourselves without putting ourselves down. And I think, like going to the gym is a big part of bettering yourself in so many ways, just not even physically, but also mentally and emotionally. Like that's where you could get your anger out, or when you're sad, you can go cry. That's really a place where everyone accepts who you are as a person, really, because everyone started somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Just that people don't quite understand that the gym is more than just physical growth, but it's mental and social growth. I mean, you can be extremely social in the gym. I know there's people here that they come in and they allot 30 minutes to chat with their friends before they start their workout.
Yeah.
Um,
It really is, yeah.
but it's definitely a place to grow, and I think the common stigma is that like it's just a bunch of meatheads and people that lift all day every day and that's all they do. But there's a lot of people who are starting their journey, or they're in the early stages, or maybe they're on a longer journey than some, or they've gone up and down. There's a ton of different people that you can meet and talk about their journeys. That's part of why I wanted to do this show, is just to talk about different journeys and meet different people who have different things going on, and who are aspiring for new goals, different goals, even in their own journey. And that kind of leads me to the next question. But when you really got going into weightlifting, what were your initial goals? Did you have something that you were striving for, or were you just really looking to get going?
I think for me, just I guess going to the gym since high school, it was something that I looked forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have much of a goal. I mean, right now too, I don't really have much of a goal. But I think for me, I don't know, it just seems like a second home where you see your friends. I guess just sharing stories with everyone. Eventually, you get to know more and more people that go to the gym consistently, like you do.
Mm-hmm.
But when I became more consistent, I really didn't have a goal for myself. I think I just started going because my friend went and she had always wanted to go with me. She moved back to Hawaii, which makes me so sad. But she was the one that really put that goal on me to really push me. And I think that's really important too, just having friends come with you to really push and motivate you even more. So I guess from there, my goal was really to just find a happy place to where I can, I guess, vent to someone while also work out at the same time.
Yep.
But I mean, right now, my goal is to really get more muscles.
That's a pretty good starting point. I like that.
Yeah. Shane will figure that out for me later.
Yeah, he's in charge of building that for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I can definitely attest to how much having somebody else there to lift, even just if they're lifting with you, they don't have to have similar goals or even be doing similar things in the gym. But having somebody there for extra motivation, whether it's a trainer or a buddy or a sibling, whatever, having that extra person there can really help. I know you and Tom know Rashad at Junction. He and I worked out together pretty religiously for probably about a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
And we both saw a lot of we both saw a lot of progress. And then, I moved gyms, took the GM job at Clifton, and then kind of moved from there. But, when I made that move, that process kind of slowed down, and, I had a baby too. So that kind of changes up the timetable a little bit. But yeah, having somebody to even just be there and chat with, even if the workout's not good, just having somebody to go to that you can really talk to and work frustrations or, things that are going on, and just chat it out while you're also pushing some weight around and trying to get some of the anger out there. I think that's a great way to kind of motivate yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I think having that person with you really does motivate you. And even like what you said, even if you guys don't have the same goals, it really still helps. And it also puts you to find more perspectives, like to really get yourself out of that box. Because I remember when I first started working out with Kylie, I never in my life have thought I would do hip thrusts, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, like any of those movements. I always stuck to the same routine every time and didn't really see much difference in, I guess, pushing myself and just the strength I could get to. And then from there, I really have found to enjoy the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Rashad used to throw, because he played football in high school, so they did a lot of weightlifting. I just played basketball, and I played golf recreationally, but we never really hit the weight room in basketball. So a lot of what I learned was from my dad, who grew up in the '80s and was doing some pretty basic stuff. And so my library was pretty limited in terms of exercises. So I was doing a lot of the same stuff. And then Rashad's like, let's try this out. And I'm like, that sounds awful. Why would we do that? And then we go through it, and I'm like, I kind of like that, even though it really hurts the next day. I like it, and it's challenging, and I kind of want to do it again.
Yeah, you feel that sense of accomplishment when you get sore the next day or the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you kind of get that same sensation when you start working with a trainer too, because obviously they have a huge a huge knowledge base of exercises and workouts and things that can help you specifically for your goal that you probably have never seen. Like I'm getting workouts from Keelan over here in Junction now, and he's throwing me stuff that I have never, like, I've seen it, but I've never tried it, and it sucks, but it's great at the same time.
Yeah, I think having that trainer with you too really helps you get out of that comfort zone again and really pushes you, because typically sessions are an hour, 30 minutes to an hour-ish. And in that hour, that hour is gonna suck, but it feels so good after.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because for me too, I always end up talking too much to people. And like the other day, I was there for like 3 hours, which was mostly me talking. But I think in that 1 hour, you can fit so much, like so much. You get so out of breath, but it feels so good after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty incredible what you can do in an hour in the gym if you really focus and line in on what you're doing. It's crazy.
Exactly. Sometimes you get in that zone too, that sense of flow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of that term, the flow.
I have. I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff, and the concept of flow is pretty interesting to me. I've been testing a lot of things both in the gym and outside of the gym at work, just trying to find that state.
Yes.
It's super interesting when you get there. It's pretty incredible.
It's so crazy to look back too into those moments, because you figure out more about yourself and what you really enjoy in life. And I think I definitely get that a lot from when I work out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like working out.
Just to expand on that thought, for anybody who's watching, kind of explain what flow is in really basic terms, just for anybody who's watching.
Yeah, that's a good question. So flow was actually created by it might have been a psychologist. His name is really hard to say. It's like Csikszentmihalyi.
Yeah, it's a huge name.
yeah, it's
buy you a vowel sort of thing. Yeah.
But it's really interesting because flow is something that a lot of people probably go through and don't even realize they're going through it. So that state of flow is when you lose track of time, when you're doing something that you enjoy, but also provides a lot of challenge into you
Mhm.
during that time. And you get that sense of flow, that sense of time is going so fast, but you don't even realize it. You're at that place at that time. Like you're in the present moment is pretty much what it means. And for an example, when you work out or when you're like hiking and you're in nature, you're seeing everything, you're in that present moment, and you don't even realize you've hiked for an hour already just because you have been observing what's around you. You've also just felt so present at that time. So that's what flow is, when you enjoy something, but also it gives you a challenge and puts you in that present moment. I feel like
Yeah,
I've said
I think that's a super interesting concept. I'd like to do some more research on it. I heard it in I can't remember which podcast it was, but it was an author, and they talked about the original discovery of what I think it was a psychologist, what he called flow,
yeah.
and kind of how that's evolved and what it was, and I just found it super interesting. I've been trying to, find little ways to get into it a little more often.
Yeah, it really is. I think there's different ways too. So there's different terminologies that kind of go along with flow. So if you're really interested, I definitely recommend reading into positive psychology because they have different things. There's also forest bathing, which is when you're in nature and you don't have your phone, you're in a way just going along with the flow while you're walking around nature and observing what's around you, and you get that sense of flow again.
I like that. I like that. I'll have to look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I have the book too if you want to read it.
I might have to snag it from you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what made you want to start working with a trainer? I know you're working with Shane over in Clifton. What made you want to start doing
So, okay, so actually for 2 years, Shane has approached me, but I never really looked into training just because I was so scared of the challenge, so scared of messing up, so scared of going out of the box from my workouts and thinking, oh, it won't work because I think these specific little things are working for me. But really, again, with my friend Kylie, she was the one that actually brought that idea up. And that was like 2 years after Shane started asking me. And so I guess just having that first session with Shane, I really found more things into working out
it?
and yeah, really challenging myself. And after that first session, I thought that that would be my goal, was to challenge myself more. Um, so yeah, that's why I keep going now. And he's really helped me learn to better my form,
Mm-hmm.
to find more challenge again, find more workouts, find different things every time instead of doing one thing at a time. If that makes sense. So like before I started training with him, I would just do legs once. My squat was at the same weight for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I struggled just getting like lighter weight for me at that time. I like plateaued a lot with my workouts. I didn't really like going. Like even though I did try to go, it was more of a chore for me. But
Mm-hmm.
after I started training with him, I really have found different people, different ways, different exercises that I wanted to try for that week or for that day and really get myself out of that box. And yeah, now I look forward to training, which is interesting. Something that I never really thought I would enjoy.
Yeah,
But yeah, over time I've really seen a lot more progress and more progress.
that's awesome. How long you been working with Shane now?
So I think we started working out with him at the end of 2019.
Okay.
And then even when quarantine hit, we would still do our sessions, even when it was with lighter weight.
Right, right. Yeah, I remember Shane was helping a lot of his clients out when we were closed, and then
Yeah.
when we reopened, he was trying to help as many as were comfortable. So
Yeah, it was so nice because with the gym being closed, I freaked out that day. I was like, what am I gonna do? And so I literally bought a bench, a bar, some plates, and yeah,
wow.
I went hard. And then after quarantine like ended, I didn't end up using them again, but it's fine.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
It's like collecting dust, but it's okay.
That's all right. Now you got it. If anything ever happens again, or if something happens and you just want to stay home and work out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that was the nice thing that I thought about too. Just if I didn't have the time to go to the gym, I could just do it at home.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a bunch of equipment that's kind of doing the same thing at the moment. I had a bunch actually before all the closures, and I was doing some small things because I wanted to work out a little bit more at home with the baby. So but the last couple of months, I really haven't touched a lot of it, which kind of sucks. And now it's just sitting in my garage collecting dust. But yeah, I mean, it's always nice to kind of have it there if something does happen and I can't make it into the gym, or if I can't find the time in the day to hit the gym, then I at least know that I've got something at home to do.
Yeah, there you go. Or maybe when you guys have another baby, there you go. It's just
That's
there.
right. That's right. That's right. So what kind of current things are you working on? I know you mentioned you don't necessarily have strict goals, but what kind of things are you working on right now?
In terms of the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Shane has me starting the strength training program. So
Mhm.
that way I can get heavier squats and just big compound movements, I think. And I need to do more chest, so that's probably why I need to do that. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I've been doing right now, just trying to find more strength. But also I've been waiting on this belt that I ordered a while ago. So I'm gonna wait till that comes in, and that's when I'll start my program.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. So talk a little bit about yourself outside of the gym. What do you do for fun? What kind of hobbies do you have? I know you just graduated from Mesa. What kind of stuff are you doing there?
So apart from work, I am actually, so even though I did graduate from CMU, I'm still doing an independent research with another person or a partner and one of the professors.
Mhm.
And right now in this paper, we're trying to evaluate the impacts of COVID-19 on independent versus interdependent people. So people from like collectivist background, collectivistic cultural backgrounds,
Mhm.
where people here who are more independent and seeing how that touch deprivation really impacts the varying groups to see if there's a big difference on
Mhm.
the impacts of COVID. So that's something interesting. So I think we're gonna be presenting that on in an online conference. It's for the Western Psychological Association.
Very
And we
cool.
were supposed to go to California, but that didn't work out because of COVID. Yeah. But I mean, when you mentioned just like doing things outside of the gym, I don't do much. I do my chores. I clean sometimes. I don't really cook. Tom usually cooks. So yeah, I really just that's literally what I do. I just look forward to going to the gym.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Very cool. When do you start your new job?
So I actually started training online the past 3 days. So I started on Tuesday, and then I have uh so this is literally my schedule. So I have kids club Monday, and then training at the hospital for a couple days, and then kids club. So I'll be like on for 6 days at a time.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's good to have that experience, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Now into a portion of these shows that I like to call the Fitness Four. Okay, what that is I ask the same 4 questions to every guest that I have, and today I actually have a bonus question I'm going to ask you at the end. Okay.
Perfect.
So first question: what is your favorite song to get you going in the gym?
Oh yes. Let me find it. So usually anything by Illenium or Slander. Uh, so when I was actually working out with Corey,
Mhm.
Paul's girlfriend,
Mhm.
she told me that my song was too happy for the gym. So I guess my genre of music is too happy. But let's see. So right now, let's see. Or Excision is another one. So anything EDM is something I really like. Let me find Millennium's music.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of EDM in my playlist too. Just having um, more of like a background noise. It's
Mhm.
not it's nothing that like I'm really concentrated on the lyrics or anything like that. But it's something that I can have on that can still keep me going.
Exactly. I think just the rhythm with just EDM too, or even when the drops like hit, that's when I start my set, just
Mhm.
because it like moves you more.
Mhm.
Okay, what is a good song? I think Hearts on Fire is a good one.
I heard that one. I'll have to try that. Hearts on Fire. Okay.
Yes.
I'll add that to my playlist for my workout today.
Yay. And then let's see, on my recent favorites, I have this song. Let me Oh, it's Sean Kingston. So just like, yeah, it sounds very happy. So that one. Yeah, I think those are my favorites so far.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Question number 2. What is your favorite exercise or lift and your least favorite?
Okay, if you know me, my favorite workout are hip thrusts. Even though like people, it's a controversy. I'm just like, oh, hip thrust, like even if you go heavy, it doesn't count because it's not a deadlift, blah blah blah. I think if you try it, it's so fun. And I think I don't know, just over time I've learned
Mhm.
to find different ways to challenge myself with hip thrusts, like doing like 6. Okay, so 6 in one set, there's 6 normal and then 6 pulses and then a 10-second hold.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I recommend. There's that one.
wow.
Or you can do just 10 negatives. So you do 10 reps and then go really, really slow on the bottom,
Oh.
on the way to the bottom. And then there's also like just trying to see how far you can get, how heavy you can get with those ones.
Mhm.
And then another one for hamstrings slash glutes. I found this out the other day. I had Lexi and Madeline try it yesterday.
Mhm.
But so you're on the lying hamstring curls,
Oh
like
yeah.
this, and then this is my leg right here, and then you go up halfway, and then hold for like a second, and then go up all the way, and then down, and then do a full rep, and then do the half, and then full.
Oh man,
I
that's
recommend.
brutal. So I guess that would be like a split or a pause rep and then a full rep split. God,
Yes,
that sounds awful.
that was rough. I'm still really sore. I had to stretch around Sam's Club today. It was great.
That's always the best feeling when you're randomly walking through the grocery store and you have to stop and stretch and
Yes.
looking around trying to see if anybody's watching.
Yeah. You're like, I'm just gonna drop it now.
Yep.
What was the other question? Was there 2 questions?
Your least favorite.
Oh, your least favorite. Okay, my least favorite. Um, in terms of pain, the Bulgarian split squats really get me out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely try to incorporate it just because it makes me feel pain. But that's a good one. But in terms of something that I try to avoid, oh, that's a hard one. Um, I don't running. Yes, that one. Just running. Just
What's interesting is you're going to be the 7th episode and nobody has said running
really? What
yet.
have other people said?
Um, we've had a few that like they concentrate mostly on their legs, so their least favorite is anything with their chest. They don't like that.
I forgot.
Um,
That's another one for me. Chest.
I'm trying to remember. I interviewed Parker too. He's actually going to be the next episode that airs next week.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember what his was, but he loved squats.
Oh
and
yeah.
and his biggest challenge was bench. I don't think that was his least favorite, but that was his biggest challenge was bench because it's not as big as he wants it.
Yeah. That's sounds like, yeah, I can hear him saying that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely forgot about chess because I I've never really done it until like started training with Shane, and then even when he did start training with me, I would always try to do legs. So we're making ways.
That's good. That's good. Making
Yeah.
progress. That's what
Yes,
counts.
exactly.
All right. Number 3 on the fitness score. What are you currently learning? This could be related to the gym. It can be related to your new job. Anyway.
Hmm. What I'm currently learning.
And I guess to make it a little easier, what are you learning that you're super passionate about?
Okay. I think for me, psychology has been a big part of my life. I think just learning, especially having a positive psychology class last semester, I think I really want to go more into it. And I've definitely learned and accumulated some positive psychology techniques into the kids club. I think just with little kids, just really trying to explain to them, not really disciplining them in a way, but rather telling them what they've been doing wrong and how we can fix it for the future.
Mhm.
Just incorporating those because I've learned over time that, yelling doesn't help. But I mean, even if it's necessary, then we will. But I think that should be the last. What's it called?
Kind of last resort.
Yes, exactly. So I think using that, um, I've also incorporated positive psychology into my relationship with Tan. There's a lot of aspects. So there's an idea called micro moments. Have you heard of them?
I'm familiar with the term, but not so much in the sense of psychology.
Yeah, so micro moments are those things where you feel present. So
Mhm.
it has really helped you become more connected to other people, not even just a relationship wise, but even with strangers when you connect in a way, even if it's just sharing a laugh with them or sharing a little joke with them and really observing that moment, observing how you felt at that time. And I think that's really helped me become again present in the moment, but also helped my relationship with Tan
Mhm.
in understanding just what his love language is, or even understanding how he is as a person and never really taking anything for granted. Sometimes we make expectations out of people, and
Mhm.
if they don't meet those expectations, you often get sad or angry. But really, when those expectations aren't met, it's because you don't notice those little things that you took for granted.
Mhm.
So I recommend reading about that. So that's a good one. But yeah, anything positive psychology wise, just so interesting. There's so many topics that people can read and really incorporate into their lives to find their own successes and find their own strengths too.
I like it.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks.
very cool.
Yeah,
All right, number 4. This is the last one, and then I do have a bonus one.
perfect.
What is one positive thing that you got out of 2020?
Uh so one positive thing I've got from 2020 again is just having that positive psychology class. I think that was one of the biggest things that I've learned. It's really helped me find a strength in my own life and become present at moments where I don't think I should be, or like I should be present. But I think just graduating from college too was a really big accomplishment. It really didn't hit me until I graduated.
Mhm.
Uh, but also having that time for friends too. Obviously not like the big gatherings, but really getting to know more people during 2020. And yeah, just exploring who I am as a person and other people in our lives too. I think that was something that 2020 has taught me.
Mhm.
Um,
I like
yeah,
that.
if that
I
makes
like
sense.
that. I think a lot of people were able to take time and actually reflect on themselves, which is
Mhm.
not, I feel like that's not a common theme, is to really reflect on our own journey until we hit a certain point, like we hit a wall or we hit a point where, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we're like, man, I don't like that.
Yeah,
And that's really the point that you start to reflect. But I think 2020 kind of forced every human to do that. You know,
exactly.
their status, their ethnicity, their what they do for a job, anything.
Yeah.
It really kind of forced that upon them, and I think for a lot of people, it's probably done a lot of good. At least to a lot of the people that I've talked to, it has.
I think so. I think just having that time for themselves has really put them into that place
Mhm.
where I guess in the past years everyone's on the go. Like they're just go, go, go with their job, school, with
Yep.
everything that's been going on in their lives. And then with 2020, when pretty much everything was shut down, everyone was forced to have that time with family or with friends and really try to find their own passions too, or really like start those passions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, bonus question.
Okay.
Um, with with the progress that you've made on your own journey, what is one piece of advice or one thing that you would say to somebody who's just getting started or struggling to get started?
Okay, that's a good question. Just one thing to note for everyone is that if they are just starting or struggling to start, to know that everyone has been there. Everyone has gone through that stage of, I guess, blame sometimes for yourself. I mean, for me, there was that sense of blame, that sense of anger for yourself, but really try to understand where that's coming from and enjoy who you are as a person. You might not see it now, but in the future, you'll really thank yourself. I saw this TikTok of this person that explained something that stuck with them throughout time, and I think it's really important to know for a lot of people is that if you want to go forward, sometimes you get taken back a lot. Some things could happen, and you really want to think of it as like a slingshot. So if you want to go forward further, then sometimes you have to take that 1, 2, 3, even 100 steps back, and then when that moment hits, that's when you propel forward into your own success. Um, so yeah, so I think really not don't blame yourself for where you are now or where you've been in the past or for those situations that you can't control. Just find that happiness in your own self. Really, I guess, just helps guide you to find that love for yourself too. And then that's more of like the mental piece. And then in terms of if you want to start going to the gym, start working out, I definitely recommend working out with a friend. Uh, Having a friend there really puts the responsibility on you because a lot of people feel guilty if they cancel plans. So if
Mhm.
your friend keeps asking you, then you're going to feel guilty for saying no all the time and you'll eventually go. And then also, I think just going with a friend too really helps you build that connection with them in terms of being in the gym or outside of the gym. And I think also something that I regret not starting earlier, I mentioned this in my post, is not starting a training session. I think it seems very intimidating at first because trainers look scary, but
Mhm.
they're really just big teddy bears.
They are.
They really are, but they'll really help you, and it's not like they're there to yell at you all the time. They're there to build that connection with you, build that rapport, and really understand who you are and where you want to be in the future. So yeah, those are my 3 things. Just really enjoy the process, but also love yourself for just the mistakes that you've gone through, or love yourself for any of the upside, the positive sides, and then the negative sides of who you are. Uh, get a friend, go to the gym together, and get a trainer.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think starting off on the right foot with a friend and a trainer are two great points, and just getting started. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
not being afraid to get started and putting the past behind you. Don't blame yourself. I think those are all three great pieces of advice for anybody looking to get started.
Thank you. It took me a while to learn those things, but it helped me along the way.
Good, good. Any last parting thoughts?
Um, I don't think so. But
Okay.
I think you made some really great points. I liked your feedback and everything.
Good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. And thanks for making this a series, because I think a lot of people, I wish I had something like this to
Mhm.
look into when I first started too, and really understand what people went through
Yeah.
and understand that I have that connection with people too.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This has been a really fun series for me. Having so many different people on. I've had members. I've chatted with members. I've chatted with trainers. I chatted with Michaela from Clifton, who's the group fitness director.
Yeah.
So we've really had a lot of different people on here, and that's kind of the plan going forward, is to continue to have just a very wide range of folks who come into the gym and can tell their stories, because there's being in the gym for the last few years, as part of the staff, I get to meet a lot more people versus just coming in as a member.
Yeah.
But being a part of this community for the last, I started going here when I was in high school, so the
Oh,
better part of the last 10 or 11 years, you get to meet a lot of people, hear a lot of interesting stories, a lot of unique stories, and that's really what I wanted to highlight with this series.
I agree. Wow. That's amazing, Dylan. Good job.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
thanks for being on. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching. If this is the first episode that you guys are seeing of this, check out the rest of the series on our YouTube channel. Just search Mesa Fitness Colorado on YouTube. Please, please, please leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought.